How's it going, everybody? Thanks for being here. This video is going to be exclusively for the GVM YU300R owners. I haven't had this panel for a few months and I've been waiting for the accessories to actually exist, and here they are. I'm going to be reviewing two accessories, which is the most important accessories for this panel here. One is the grid, which is my favorite, and also the softbox. This panel provides a very, very diffuse light, but the softbox is going to double the diffusion. And in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to install everything, including the softbox, and also how it will look like on the background as soon as you put that grid right here, and the softbox, of course, to show an actual subject in front of the actual panel. And a quick disclaimer, GVM sent me these two accessories for me to review and test it out. I don't get paid to say anything here, and all my words and opinions, they are my own. Currently, there are three accessories which are available for the YU300R and also for the new YU150R, which are the barn door, softbox, and a grid. The grid, I'm talking about the metal grid that installs right here. A lot of people like to use barn doors on the panels. I particularly don't like to use barn doors, especially the grid provides pretty much almost the same effect, if not better. But the barn door exists and it's also available to purchase. So if you're here watching this video, that probably means that you already own this panel, so I don't need to explain anything here. But again, this has a drop-down system right here, which is my favorite. And speaking of favorite, this grid is one of my favorite accessories because every panel must have a grid for that ultimate light control, because sometimes you don't want the light to be spilling everywhere. And one thing that's great about this panel is because it spills light everywhere and very evenly, but sometimes you want to kind of tunnel that out, right? So when I put the grid on my face, as you can see, as I turn the grid, my face disappears. The same exact concept goes for the light. Let's say that you don't want the light to spill on the background. You simply turn the light until the light no longer hits the background. And this is the beauty of a grid. And also the convenience of this whole thing having a little tab here, and again, the little drop-down design, I simply love it. This entire grid is made of metal, but keep in mind that the grid itself is very fragile, so don't let this drop on the ground, especially a hard floor like this. This is made of concrete. This is my commercial studio right here, so you do not want to drop this. And this is incredibly lightweight. I don't know what kind of aluminum it is, but it is very light. So the frame is actually very tough, but again, this is the sensitive or fragile area. So the easiest way to install the grid without risking anything dropping on the ground, simply hold the grid this way and you come here and press against that red tab, and that's it. Now to remove, press the red tab. So right now is the panel without anything in front. As you can see, the light is nice and diffused, but sometimes it is too wide. You don't want the light to go everywhere. For example, I don't want to light that piece of furniture right there. And this is when you use the grid. Now see the difference. Now you have a much more controlled light, as you can see, and it lights only what you want. And as you can see with the grid installed, my hand is not lit anymore. What's lighting my hand is this light here as a key light. When you remove this out of here, look at the difference. And here's another indispensable accessory for this panel. This panel already provides a very nice level of diffusion and is super soft already, but adding a softbox is going to provide a second layer of diffusion. And this softbox here, it comes with the softbox, the actual metal frame, which is very heavy, which is a good thing. This is actually incredibly sturdy. This is a very thick metal. It measures at least 3 millimeters in thickness, so this is not going to break. This is going to last a long time. And to mount the softbox is the same exact design. You just slide it down here. What you want to do first is to hold this red button and then you install the softbox. To remove the softbox, hold the button and the whole thing slides right out. Next, I'm going to be showing you guys how to install this from scratch. And here's the actual frame to mount the softbox. This whole thing is made of metal and it is about 3 millimeters in thickness. It is nice and heavy and it has Velcros on every single side. And of course, this awesome design, which is the tabs here that goes right through here. Mine came with the paint a little bit too thick. I'm talking about 1/1000th of an inch too thick. So all I have to do is to kind of grab a sandpaper and sand this down a little bit. As you can see, there's a little bit of the metal being exposed there, but no big deal. It took me like 3 minutes here, 3 minutes there. Now this thing slides very well. To install this frame here, it is important that you don't get 1% crooked. It has to be absolutely straight, so this will slide down, because if you do a little crooked, it will not happen. So you want to place it right here, like a millimeter on the tab, and then pressing against the red tab right there. See, once you're in the track here, no problem. I actually like to have the panel tilted this way, which means you can actually have a better visual underneath here. So the easiest way to install, make sure this is folded this way, and then you just open this little flap right here. So you put it in here, and then you open this way carefully, And then you just align right here. It's that simple. So always mount this first, and then it's a lot easier to set this up. Then you come here and do the same exact thing. Fold it this way. Then open this here. And then the Velcro, see, it goes right behind. This is why you have to install the bottom first. Make sure everything is aligned right here. And look how beautiful that looks. So step number one done, let's get the diffuser. So you want to make sure you stretch very nicely this way here. And with your fingers, stretch this as much as you can. And install all the way on the back so the grid can actually be installed later. And again, stretch everything. Make sure everything matches here, aligned very nicely. And then finally the bottom part here. And then you make sure you install the grid, but before you install the grid, this, as you notice, has a little angle this way, right? So the grid also has such angle, so this way would not be correct way to install, so you want to turn it around and right here. And you stretch it right here. So this is a very nice softbox. Notice that all the grids, they are nice and straight. It's cut precisely to the size of the softbox here. Finally, stretch right here. And there you go. As you can see, the grid is perfectly aligned right there. Now, before you remove the grid, if you never tried a grid before, never attempt to remove the grid grabbing here because you're going to destroy the grid. Always grab from the edges right there. Very gently remove it. And to remove the diffuser, it's extremely easy as well. Now, to remove the softbox, start from here. Very gently, one thing at a time. Fold it, and then you peel from here with your finger this way. Then what you want to do is to tilt the panel slightly. And then fold it. Then carefully place your finger here so you don't break the softbox, and that's it. And here's the light with the grid attached, yet providing soft light because the panel already has diffusion even though the grid is installed. And then you have full control of the light. As you can see, you move a little bit, she's out. And then without the grid, not only I have to adjust the exposure down a little bit, and as you can see, there's light spill in the background that I don't want, unless this is what you want, right? But without the grid, it looks like this, and with the grid, you have even more control. And here with the softbox installed, it provides a double diffusion. Look how gorgeous the light looks. There's no other light other than little light on a color on the background, but in front of the model here, there's no other light but this one here. So the light is actually double diffused, and it's very widely spread if you want that. Now let's see what it looks like with the grid installed. And there you go. You have to adjust again a little bit because the grid kind of cuts out a little bit of the light. So as you can see, the light spill in the background has been minimized, and the light is more directional right here. So if you turn the softbox a little bit, she is completely out of the light. When you remove the grid, look at the difference. You turn the light, she's still lit, and she's still lit. She's still lit, and she's still lit. So as you can see, you can actually fit everything inside the case. You simply put the softbox on the bottom, the frame on top, and then the grid on the right, and the diffuser on top. But it's gotta be exactly the way you see, otherwise it's not going to work. So the case closes perfectly. So I hope the contents of this video was helpful to you, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.